It's time to bring you yet another amazing episode. And now, welcome your host.
Good to have you on the show. This is Larry Olive by Omobola Steven. I'm the host of Omobola Steven. On the show, we explore topics covering self-improvement and personal development topics. We have come to realize the importance of embracing personal development and self-improvement in the course of our lives, because when we do such, we tend to find ourselves along the way. And in finding ourselves, we realize that there's so much potentials, bounties that life has in store for us if we don't give up. Now, embracing personal development and self-improvement is not going to happen overnight. The benefits and the bounties doesn't happen overnight. Now, it is very important for you and I to cultivate the habit of intentionally developing ourselves. All of the potentials and the innate gift set that we have inside of us can be maximized and harnessed to the fullest when we look inwards and realize that we need to develop ourselves in order for all these potentials to come to the fore, and then we can truly maximize and enjoy them at the end of the day. The mission and focus of Library by Omobola Steven is for us to offer disruptive yet constructive mindship conversations from expert and professionals who are adept in these topics that is going to pivot the transformations and positive changes you and I need in this side of eternity in order for us to live a fulfilling life as it was originally meant to be. Today, I have Mitchell Taylor, who is the founder of the Women and Wealth Initiative. Now, what the platform does is that they aim at empowering women to take control of their financial future. Thank you so much, Mitchell Taylor, for coming to Library by Omobola Steven.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to chat with you today.
Excited to chat with you also. Thank you once again for coming on the show, and we're looking forward to your worthwhile time as you share your expertise on this important topic, talking about women and wealth. Now, your platform is strictly for women. Now, business owners who are preparing for exit strategy and also stay-at-home moms. So why women, really, and what leads this spark? We'd like to hear your story.
So I am drawn to helping other people. And what I found growing up, my family, I was very lucky. They gave me so many things, but what they didn't necessarily prepare me for is making financial choices and decisions to set myself up for success. So my parents got divorced when I was 5. My mother was in retail management. So she did not have a lot of extras. I grew up watching her balance her checkbook sitting at the dining room table on Sundays and working long hours. And it was all so that I could be as active as I wanted to be. I was a dancer growing up, and that was expensive. My dad, on the other hand, was an entrepreneur. And I saw the life that he had. Initially he wasn't successful. It takes time to build the momentum, but I did see him working really hard. He loved what he did, and he had the freedom of time. So I had 2 great examples of a path, and I knew that seeing my mom work really hard and not have a lot to show for it at the end of the day, I didn't want that. So I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. But again, despite them doing so much for me, there wasn't a path of really teaching on how to do that. So I basically tried to figure it out on my own. I did see both of them make not great financial decisions, and that helped pave the way. But I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had a few different ideas that I did see through to fruition that didn't necessarily end up the way that I had thought that they would. But it led me to where I'm at today, and I couldn't be happier. I build my practice and this community around changing the way women think and feel about money, and making sure that they're having the same conversations that our male counterparts are often having over drinks and cigars or on the golf course.
Now, I like that. Now, your initiative, it helps a woman define and achieve their own version of financial sources with confidence and clarity. Tell me, how do you achieve this?
Well, I think it's really important, especially in this day and age where we're exposed to so much of other people's lives, that I don't know about you, but I've seen it more times than I care to count, where people, thought leaders, successful women and men are on social media or in front of us on podcasts telling us this is what success looks like. And I feel like for a lot of women, there's so much that we want to do. And if we don't aspire to flying in a private jet or having, you know, multiple houses, there are some people that will say, well, then that's not true success. You're not hustling hard enough. And I take issue with that. I like to think that for a lot of us, success may be just a freedom of time, of having the opportunities and options that money provide, and being able to wear multiple hats, being able to be a mother, a business owner, a successful executive, a wife, a friend, a daughter. I think we can have it all, but I think that we have to define that success in our own terms, finding out what's really important. For me, I knew that I wanted to be able to travel, and I wanted to be able to travel in such a way that it was a little bit more comfortable. And I wanted to give that gift to my children, and I wanted to be able to take them to school every day. I came into this with that being the driving force instead of it being money or a title. And I'm sure you would agree that once you define what success looks like for you, it's easier to go after it with a true heart.
Now, when women, just like when they have that driving force, uh, as such as money. And now the question that I want to ask now, because I'm thinking in my head, is financial independence for a woman, is it the ultimate measure of their success?
I think that it's a really good indicator of success. I think whatever that looks like, you know, for you and I, financial success may mean having no debt and having money in a savings account that they don't have to really think about the day-to-day expenses. For other people, financial success may look like them getting a promotion that they want and being able to maximize their retirement accounts. It may be retiring their parents. That's important for a lot of people, taking care of family. It may be generational wealth and setting up their children to have better lives than they had. So I think that really what needs to be the total indicator of whether you're successful or not, you need money. Money is the tool to accomplish those things. But I think that the end result can be one of your own making. So sitting down and really thinking through, what does my perfect version of life look like? We're all striving for happiness. Money is the tool that can help us accomplish the things. Money doesn't make you happy. So I think determining what the end result is and then using money as a tool to get you there, that's going to be the leading indicator of a successful life or not.
But really, that's what your platform does. It aims at empowering women to take control of their financial future. So, because we talk about financial independence, so why is it so very important for a woman to have her own money?
You know, I wish I could say that I hadn't seen terrible situations, but oftentimes women will allow their husbands to manage the family finances. And I tell people all the time, that's okay. If you don't want to be the one that's in charge, if that's not necessarily something that you desire to do, I think it's just so important for women to understand what's going on. So what my community does and what my initiative is I want women to understand money. I want us to understand the things that we can do. Nobody saves their way to wealth. You have got to put your money to work for you. I often say that money is the most expensive place to hold money is in cash. women in general tend to be a bit more conservative. So we like to hold on to our cash, where really we're doing ourselves a disservice. We need to put our money to work for us so that we're creating income coming back in. And I think that once women understand what their options are out there, what the different ways to invest your money are, how much cash you truly need to have set aside, those are the kind of basic tools and education I'm trying to offer, along with mentorship and community, so that women at least can be the architect of what their future looks like without necessarily just going along with what a spouse says. It's important to have a cohesive plan when you're married, but it's also really important that you understand what that plan is so that you're both bought into it. God forbid something ever happened to a spouse or you get divorced. I once had a client that her husband was having an affair and left her. And she called me and she said, Michelle, my power is out. And it wasn't because she didn't have the money. It was because she didn't even know how to pay the bill because he took care of it. My goal is to make sure that women are never kept behind the curtain and don't understand or have access to what we need to be successful and to grow our own wealth. As long as we have the tools, I think the opportunities are limitless.
But really, Mitchell, don't you think that this idea is going to create a power tussle in the marriage or in the relationship?
It doesn't have to. Like, for example, my husband and I, it's actually the opposite, where because this is my world, he allows me, I manage the finances. And I know that that's not always the case. And what we do is on a quarterly basis, we have a meeting together. We sit down, we look at our budget, we look at what's coming up, and we call it the State of the Union. And I think that it makes him feel really good because although he trusts me and knows what we're doing, for us to sit down and say, okay, what are the big expenses this month? What do we need to plan for? This is how much we've spent. This is how much we saved. Is there anything that needs to be addressed? Are there repairs that need to be made to the house or the car? Does somebody need braces? And he doesn't need to make the day-to-day decisions or pay the actual bill, but he knows what's going on and he knows what our goals are for that quarter. I think that just having time together to review it, have a glass of wine, make it fun. I think that it takes kind of the power struggle out of it.
But really, Mitchell, that's we can say lucky you find yourself in this situation, but it's lucky you indeed. But I like us to look at a situation now where we have women who are victims of financial abuse. Now,
Yeah.
it is also known as the invisible weapon, or in another term, it is known as the domestic violence in other forums. So let's talk about that a bit.
That is trickier, obviously. So what I would tell women in that situation is it's still very important to know where things are and what's going on as much as you can. I think that also educating yourself on truly what it takes to run your life and trying to set yourself up for success in whatever small measurable ways you can. Maybe it's just taking control of one part of the financials, saying, hey, I'm going to handle the shopping for the family. So having really transparent conversations as much as they can. Unfortunately, I've got some clients that have dealt with that, and it's a hard road to navigate. I think just asking for transparency, asking for visibility into what's happening, and then trying to be as resourceful as possible to get yourself out of that situation.
Thank you, Mitchell, for sharing that thought with my audience. But I'd like us to talk about those women who are preparing for exit strategy. Now, some of them prepare for exit strategy without having a proper financial planning in focus. And so they downplay the importance of financial planning. So what's your own take in that regard?
So when we talk about exit strategy, that can mean exiting a business, it can mean exiting a marriage, it can mean exiting a, a job, a career, retiring. And I think that it's really important before you make a life change like that to understand what your money situation is going to look like. So understanding, again, creating streams of income if you can, as simple as maybe it's owning some real estate as an example that would produce income, or a type of investment that would give you a dividend. It's important to understand what your income needs are, and then we want to reverse engineer that and make sure that you never run out of money. And it's important to start doing that in several years in advance of you actually making the life change, because we need to consider how you access your money. How is your money taxed? What's the order of operations there? Because with no plan, you're setting yourself up for a lot of unnecessary risk.
Mitchell, I'd like you to just give my audience, especially the women folks who are having the challenges of financial issues. We know it is almost the number one major issue in relationship and marriages. So many women plan their exit strategy because they're really frustrated because of this development. What advice or what strategy will you offer to them, to those who are so frustrated about this situation? I can't get out of this because, I have kids. I'm so tied down, but then I don't have financial independence. And so it's really a major issue because I've had clients who are messed up because they are in this kind of ugly situation. What's your own strategy, or what's your advice that you can give to this side of people?
I would say, honestly, to try and control as much of the money that you can. So if you have a career and you're getting paid, I would maybe make some decisions on how, if you have the ability to put money into a separate account and then have most of your money go into another. I would just say to try and squirrel away what you can and have that be your emergency fund. Have that be kind of your lifeline of, let's figure out a way to, if you've got a household budget of, $500 for groceries, how do you say, let me be resourceful and maybe knock that down to 400 and squirrel the other $100 away in an account that's in my name so that you feel like you do have some control. I think that resourcefulness, figuring out where to cut corners, trying to limit the amount of debt you have personally is the best way to do that.
All right, Mitchell, my audience are excited to learn of any project or important information you think is going to be super beneficial to them. They would like to have this information. If there's any, you can share.
So I think that right now, the biggest thing I can tell your audience is to start saving and investing now, even if it feels like it's very small, even if it feels like it's going to take you a long time to get where you're at. There is something about, the power of compounding, where a small decision every day results in a big impact down the road. So consistency, doing it no matter what, no matter how small, that is the key to success on really with anything, financial or otherwise. So I would tell your audience to not feel frustrated, to think about the things that are in their power, and to slowly and consistently chip away and save or invest where they can to allow themselves the options, and to be able to have the ability to make decisions around things that are important to them sooner rather than later.
All right, thanks for sharing that motivation to them. We like to have your social media handles and your website. Love to connect and to learn about your platform and what you're up to lately. Can you share?
Yes, I would love to. So my platform, the website is womeninwealth.co. And that is a community and membership platform that is built around these tools. There's a library of information that women can access to learn on their own. There are monthly and bi-weekly live chats where you can ask myself or other experts anything down to estate planning, banking, taxes, and ultimately just creating a community of like-minded women that can support, mentor, and encourage each other. I think it's so important to have that community. And certainly on Instagram, my handle is at women_in_wealth. I try and share a lot there as well. And of course, I have a podcast called Talk Wealthy to Me that I'm also trying to give as much information as I possibly can and have inspiring guests on to encourage women to change the way they think and feel about money.
Oh, great. Good to know. Thank you once again, Amichel. Really super excited to know that you're a podcaster just as I am. Wish you best of luck in your project and also in subsequent ones that you embark upon. Wish you best of luck once again, Amichel. I've been
Thank
having
you.
this good conversation about women and wealth with Amichel Taylor. She's the founder of the Women and Wealth Initiative. And now we've talked exclusively and at the water time talking about this important topic for the women folks out there. If you'd like to catch up with any missed episodes of the show, you can do so on any cross-promotion platform. I mean, podcast cross-promotion platforms or any podcast community you find online, or you can also check for podcast distribution platforms. You bump online, just search for Larry Olive by Omobola Stephen, and you do have a great time. Listening to profound insights that are disruptive yet constructive in nature from expert and professionals who have the right information to share on topics and subjects related to personal development and self-improvement. Thank you once again, Michelle, and thanks for your valuable time and offering your expertise on this topic of discussion. Thank you
Thank you for
once again.
having me.
It's my pleasure once again. All right. Take good care of yourself.
You too. Thank you for the work you're
Yeah.
doing.